Okay, so now part three of how to do with a case study. We're going to be looking at the different outcomes for the strategic level. So as I explained earlier on, that this strategic case study includes three pillars. So those who have done these pillars separately will understand what I mean, but those are even those that are doing the other route, they still study these pillars separately, but they will only write the strategic case study exam. They don't write each pillar exam separately, but it's the same. So you have to start three pillars: strategic management, which is E3. You have to write performance. What do you call performance? And risk management, or P3, risk management. They also have to study F3, financial strategy. So what does each pillar contain and what is expected of you in each pillar? Because that's what will be asked in the case study. It comprises the three of them. So each will be tested. Concepts within each of these ones will be tested. And you don't know which part of the concepts will be tested, but rest assured, everything may be tested, or some areas of each pillar will be tested. And you need to be able to demonstrate your knowledge and comprehension of each pillar. So the E3 strategic management will comprise or comprises of these areas that you need to be able to understand. For example, the strategy process. It teaches you or enlightens you on the strategy, how to develop a strategy, the traditional strategy model, or any other generic kind of strategies. You need to be able to understand them and be able to apply them, and should be able to identify in a case study what the company is using as a strategy. And if there's a proposition or a recommendation that you need to do, you need to be able to identify which generic strategy can you recommend the company to follow besides the one that it is already. You need to be able to identify that in your research. You need to be able to analyze the organizational ecosystem. Like I said, what are its suppliers? What are downstream suppliers? What are upstream suppliers? Customers. You need to be understanding all these things. You need to be able to understand the policies around its suppliers and customers, to be able to really deal with the organizational ecosystem, and to be able to recommend strategies that will have impact to that company's ecosystem, and to make it profitable. The next thing is the generating strategic options, like I was saying. And then the fourth thing is making strategic choices. So you need to be able to find the best choices or best strategies for your organization that you can recommend and apply to make sure that this company operates and continues for the foreseeable future. And then you need to be able to have strategic control, and definitely an understanding of the digital strategy. In this period, we are living in the digital era. Companies can be disrupted because of a new digital application that transforms the whole business for that organization. We have got companies like Kodak and other in the old, that were really decimated by the emergence of companies like YouTube, iTunes, and blah blah blah, that you can play music online. There's no more hard disks for it. So that's the emergence of digital technologies that can totally decimate an organization. So digital strategy is a very important thing. The mere fact that you are seeing this video on your YouTube and learning from it is because of the digital technologies that have come abundant now. We have got ChatGPT and AIs that are also going to accelerate that digital improvement in technologies at a level that is unprecedented. Now, the other pillar is the financial strategy. F3, you need to be able to understand financial policy decisions for your organization. You need to be able to obviously propose strategies for financial policies, financial decision making, sources of finances, long-term finances, equity and debt, and looking at various issues that will help you to obviously help your management in determining which type of funding they should use by looking at optimal structure or the gearing level of your company. You need to be able to identify and to obviously deal with and mitigate financial risks, like credit losses and things like that, which are, I think, some of the biggest risks for a company. Risk of nanny payment and things like that. So it's just an example. You need to be able to do business valuations to value your business, to find its value, whether you are acquiring a whole business, you are acquiring a part of a business, subsidiaries and things like that. You need to be able to value a business. For the strategic case study exam or all case study exams, calculations may not be the question. They may not ask you to do a full calculation of business valuation, but you need to understand what goes in a business valuation, in which appropriate valuation should be used for a certain area. Let's say you are buying 30% of a business, what valuation is the most appropriate, and what goes into that valuation? What are the formulas and techniques? That's what you need to understand. You may not need to know a detailed calculation and perform a detailed calculation, because you are supposed to just know the calculation and what do you do with the answer. How do you advise management with the answer? That's what is important. That's what they are trying to test. You should have proven already that you know the calculations in your E3 and F3 and P3 pillars. Here, yes, we know you may just do a calculation in theory there, and so you do this and that, but we want to see the application. And do you know how and why and what this calculation could aid decision making? Now we have what the P3 pillar, which we will look at the enterprise risk. So, risk at a business level, obviously, the whole organizations, the environment it operates, politic regulations and things like that. All these things will affect the enterprise as a whole. Some of them may not be things that are under its control. Some of them will be industrial kind of risks. But these are all risks either way that affect the business. We have got strategic risks, risks obviously that will affect the business's objectives for the foreseeable future. We need to be able to identify them by whatever method or methodology. It could be pastel, it could be diamond, what to call Porter's diamond, all kind of models and platforms and plans that you can use to identify those risks at a strategic level. We also need to be able to deal with internal controls, identify internal controls that are weak, propose recommendations to strengthen internal controls, actually thinking of totally new internal controls to implement for the company to better operate or to improve the operations of a company. This is very important because internal controls can either make or destroy a company. Now, with the digital age, as we said, you cannot go without discussing cyber risks. Now, cyber risks are very serious in that nowadays businesses operate in digital age. They've got websites, they sell products on websites, they can be hacked. Company information can be hacked, and customer profiles and contact details, confidential information can really be lost, and that would result in serious litigations, government intervention and things like that for a company, especially if it's huge and could have serious risks that could hinder the operations of a company. Now, the end for this part. Let's see each other in the next part or next episode of how to deal with a case study. Thank you.